Hey up everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you're all sound as a pound and keeping inside while the whole world goes mad with this coronavirus. So today I'm going to do a video for you about the NRL logos. So I'm going to be going through the teams 1 through to 16 and I'm going to be ranking their logos from best to shite. And also from good, average and below average. Now, a few other YouTubers have done this video. I'm doing mine through my Xbox. This is a very low budget video, but hopefully you enjoy it. So just bear with me while I somehow manage to drag these icons over to where I need them to go. Now, let's get into the rankings. So, the first team on the left, if you can see that, is Newcastle. Newcastle's a team that I don't really like that very much. I actually hate them, you can see. This is their newer logo. They had the same logo for about 10 years and then they changed over to this one that says Knights and Newcastle. I like the Knight itself. I mean, they've kept the old version of the Knight. But what I don't like is how they've put Knights first and Newcastle second. I'm very big on being proud of where you come from. It seems like they want to be known as Knights first and Newcastle second. So for that, I'm going to drag them and put them in average. Now, second team. This is the team I hate more than any other team on the planet in any sport and code. Melbourne. So Melbourne had pretty much the same logo for about 20 years. Then they changed over to this one after they had the 20-year anniversary logo. I wouldn't say it's a shite logo. I wouldn't say it's a good logo either. Like with Newcastle, they're trying to hide the fact that they come from Melbourne and they're just putting Storm. They're just saying Storm instead of Melbourne with big capital letters and Storm with lowercase. I've always thought that the Storm is a daft nickname. I think they could have done better with the nickname. So for that, I'm going to put it in average. I mean, even though I hate them, it's not a shite logo, but it's not good either. Now we come to Nick from Australia's team, North Queensland. Once again, the same as Newcastle and Melbourne. They're trying to hide where they come from, I think, by just putting Cowboys. If you were from, see, outside of Australia or somewhere else, you wouldn't know where the Cowboys are from. I think it's very important to be proud of where you come from in your area. So, I mean, the lettering's okay. The logo's not too bad. I just wish that they would have put North Queensland in there somewhere to show where they actually come from. Yeah, so for that, I'm going to put it in average like the other three. Get in there. How are you? Yeah, so that's another average one. Now we go over to the Gold Coast. So Gold Coast is another team that I don't like. I don't think that they should be in the competition. Sorry, BKR, if you're watching. I've often said that the Gold Coast have the worst logo and worst nickname in the NRL. I mean, the Titans. I think they should have stayed with Seagulls. I reckon that they should have gone back to Seagulls and they should have tried to work with the NRL around that instead of trying to pick a new name, because the Titans, it sounds very either American. To me, it kind of makes them sound like they're from ancient Greece, not the Gold Coast, but with the name Titans. Yeah, I think they're supposed to be swords as well, or daggers. But I might sound biased. I might upset some people, but I don't really care. I'm going to put the Gold Coast in the shite category. Not a fan. Now we come to Eastern Suburbs, or as they're known today, Sydney Roosters. As you've seen on my other videos, I think that the Sydney Roosters is a daft name. Never been a fan of it. I think that they should have just stayed with Eastern Suburbs, but that's just my opinion. I don't mind the actual rooster itself. It looks menacing. You can see that with the crow. Well, the head of hair that the rooster has. It's kind of shaped like the Sydney Harbour, the Sydney Opera House. I don't mind the lettering either. I think the lettering's all right. I don't know. I'm going to put it in the good. I think it's an alright logo. Just the Sydney Roosters is just a daft name. Should be Eastern Suburbs. You hear me? Nick Politis, if you're watching this video. Now we come to St George. So St George have had pretty much the same logo since the 1970s. The only difference with this logo is since they became the joint venture with Illawarra, they've just tacked on Illawarra at the end. But when you look at it, it's St George. You know, you've got St George himself in the logo. You got the dragon. You got the name St George. I've always loved the St George logo. Always loved the St George logo. I think it's a classic logo, very traditional. So I'm gonna put it in the best. I'm big on tradition. I love the tradition. Get in there. This is going to be a pain with this Xbox. I wish I had a computer, but I can't afford it. So anyway, getting on to the next logo, we've got Manly Warringah. So Manly Warringah, go forward. We'll go forward. We'll go forward. Sorry, I just pressed the wrong thing there. So we've got Manly Warringah, as I was saying. I like the seagull, looks alright. I don't like the fact that the wings kind of go outside of the crest, but the colouring's nice. They've had the same logo since about 2003. So I'm gonna put Manly Warringah in the good. I don't mind their logo. I think it's all right. I think this thing's bloody frozen, me. Now we come to Cronulla Sutherland. So Cronulla, this is one of their newer logos. They had the same logo for about 20 years. In the 1980s, 1990s, and they changed over to Sharks and got rid of the Cronulla name, and now they're back to Cronulla Sutherland again with the, I think they've had this logo for about 10 years or so. I'm a big fan of the older logo. I don't particularly like this one. I like the other ones. You can see that they're trying to hide the Cronulla Sutherland bit and they're trying to show the Sharks bit more. I think the colouring's alright. I think the Sharks kind of, I mean, it's sound, but yeah, I'm going to put it in average. I prefer the older logo. Now we come to South Sydney, CG Moxley's club. South Sydney, I've pretty much had the same logo for quite a number of years now. This particular logo they've had since the 1980s, except for the Rabbitohs bit used to be inside the actual crest with South Sydney. I love the actual name, South Sydney, established 1908. The Rabbitoh looks cool. I love the red bit in there, like. As I said, I'm a big fan of the traditional logos that don't change, so I'm going to put South Sydney in the best if I can get it in there. Get it in there, you bastard. And now we come to my club, Parramatta. Parramatta's had the same logo for the last 10 years. Before that we had like a cartoon character version of the logo. And then when we played in the 2001 season, I think from 2001 to 2000 from 2000 to 2002 we had another sort of cartoon version of the eel. But in 2010 we went back to the logo that we had from 1980 to 1999. I love this logo personally. I love the eel. with this particular version of the logo, they've added the 1947 in there. I like the Parramatta bit, referencing to where we're from and who we represent. It's another classic logo, so I'm gonna put it in the. I'm gonna put it up here, in the best. I know some people might see that I'm a bit biased, but I love the traditional logos, as I've said. We come over to Canterbury Bankstown, my arch rivals. Canterbury's had this logo for, I think, close to 10 years now. Before that, they had the cartoon character version of a bulldog which just said Bulldogs on it. Before that, they had the really nice logo, the one that said Canterbury Bankstown and then underneath Bulldogs. I like the colour inside the shield, the blue and the white. I like the reference to the old logo that they had for the first 40 years, the CB. I like the 1935. I think the Bulldog looks pretty cool. It's not as fierce as the other looking one, but I don't mind it. I think it's alright. So I'm going to put Canterbury Bankstown in the good section. Get in there. Now we come to New Zealand, the New Zealand Warriors. I like the New Zealand. I like the New Zealand logo. It kind of. I think it's going back to the traditional time of New Zealand when you had the indigenous peoples there, the Maoris, and the tribes and all that. Because this is very tribal looking. I like the shield. I like the colouring. I don't like the fact that it doesn't see New Zealand in it anywhere. It just says Warriors. Me personally, I liked it better when they were Auckland Warriors, but I think this is quite a good logo. It kind of represents the heritage and the original peoples of New Zealand. So that goes in good. Now we come to the West Tigers. I like the colouring of this logo. The one thing I don't like is the tiger though. The tiger looks like a cartoon character. They've had this same logo since 2000 when they merged, when Belmean and Western Suburbs merged. I think personally they should have kept the Belmean logo, kept that tiger, but scrubbed out the Belmean bit and just put Wests and then just left the tigers underneath. But I like the colouring. The only thing I just don't like about it is the tiger. If they change the tiger, I reckon they could really make it look cool, but I'm going to put it in the average. I think they can do better. Now we go on to Penrith. Penrith's had many logos over the years. All of them have been panthers on them. My favourite personally was the one that they used between 1991 and 2000, which was similar to this, but it had like a circular shield going around it and it had Penrith Panthers on it. This one, the thing I don't like about it the most is it doesn't say where the club's from. It doesn't say now. It just says it's got now. It's just a panther. Where's the panther from? It could be from Perth. It could be from bloody Paris, Berlin, Rome. We don't know. Where's this panther representing and where's it coming from? The panther itself is all right. I think it's a big improvement on in the 2000s when they had the cartoon character version of the panther. I'm gonna put it in the. I'm gonna put it in the average. I think it's average. If they would reference the Penrith somewhere in there, I'd like that. Second last logo, we've got Canberra Raiders, Canberra. Like some of the other logos, I prefer the old one. I like the old Canberra logo that they had in the 1980s and 1990s. This one is a modern take on it. Like a lot of the other clubs, they're trying to hide the fact from where they come from. The Canberra's almost microscopic and it just says Raiders. So I don't know if they're trying to appeal to people outside of Canberra to try to get them to support them, but I love the colouring though. It's got a good green colour on it. The reader kind of looks a bit menacing. I think it's not a bad logo, but I just prefer the older one, so I'm going to put it in the average. And now we come to the last logo, Brisbane. Like with some of the older logos, I like the logo that they had when they first started and had for about 10 years, which was it was a Bronco, but you could see the full body of the Bronco, and it was really well illustrated. I love that. With this logo, I think the Bronco itself is all right, even though it's just the head of the Bronco. The colouring's nice. Like with a lot of other clubs, they're trying to be known by their nickname first and where they're from second. It says Broncos Brisbane. Not really a fan of that. I think it should be Brisbane Broncos. But I don't really have a problem with this logo. I just prefer the old one, like with some of the others. I think if they were to get a full Bronco in there, I think it would look smashing. So, I know I'm a bit predictable, but I'm going to put it in the average section. So, that's my video about the NRL logos. I hope you enjoyed it. As you can see, St George, South Sydney and Parramatta were my favourites. And then you had Eastern Suburbs, Manly, Canterbury and New Zealand as the good ones. The average, well, I put a lot in the average. Oh, the Canberra ones made it way down to the below average. I don't think it's below average, I think it's average. And then the only one that I don't like, the only one I think shite, is the Gold Coast. So once again, the Gold Coast come last in another thing. But anyway, that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please consider giving it a like. If you're new to the channel, I got some other videos. I've been doing my greatest team lists. Go and check those out. I also run a page on Rugby League History. on Facebook called Rugby League History. I put a link in the description below. And I'll catch us all later. So take care of yourself.